pensusulan. Saya, Rabi'ah Aminuddin, adalah MC untuk acara hari ini. My name is Rabi'ah and I am the MC for today's event. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome all presenters and participants to the second international seminar on the roles of university in responding to psychosocial issues in the community, Isrupic 2020. We appreciate you taking your time off your busy schedule to join us. Before we proceed with our event, I would like to invite Dr. Abdul Latif from the Kuliah of Islamic Legal Knowledge and Human Sciences, IIUM, for dua recital.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahilladzi bini'amatihi tatimmus salihat. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulina al-amin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya fa'alul lima yurid. We express our gratitude to you, Ya Allah, for allowing us to organize to join this international seminar on the role of university in responding to psychosocial issues in the community, Isrupic 2020. Ya Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and ended with your forgiveness, and also make the days that we have gone through with guidance and end with excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaymin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our efforts as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenge of life. Ya Allah, Ya Farij al-Ham, wa Ya Kashif al-Gham. Ya Allah, show us guidance and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to people who like the good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. O Allah, bless our life in this meeting and prevent us from harm and unfortunate event. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alameen. May Allah bless our event today. Thank you, Dr. Abdul Latif. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Professor Shukran Abdul Rahman, the Dean of the Kuliah of Islamic Legal Knowledge and Human Sciences, for his opening remark.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin. Amma ba'd. Thank you, Dr. Rabi'ah. Bapak Yanwar Arif, Dean of Fakultas Psychology in the Universitas Islam Riau, Associate Professor Datin Dr. Aini Mazlina Abdul Manaf, Deputy Dean of Academic and Industrial Linkages in the Kuliah of Islamic Legal Knowledge and Human Sciences. Come, the Chair of the International Seminar on the Role of University in Responding to Psychosocial Issues in the Community, or Isrupic 2020. Committee members of Isrupic 2020, keynote speaker, paper presenters and participants of Isrupic 2020. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, we are able to gather again in this academic gathering, although in a different form and manner. This time, we are doing webinar instead of seminar, as we used to do before this. I would like to quote a part of a verse in the Quran from Surah Az-Zumar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul hal yastawi alladhina ya'lamun walladhina la ya'lamun. Innama yatazakkaru ulul albab. Yang bermaksud, adakah sama orang-orang yang mengetahui dengan orang-orang yang tidak mengetahui? Sesungguhnya orang-orang yang dapat mengambil pelajaran dan peringatan hanyalah orang-orang yang berakal sempurna. Ayat ini menekankan kelebihan orang berilmu. Saya suka melihat ayat ini sebagai ayat yang bukan hanya menekankan kelebihan orang berilmu dari segi status, tetapi dari segi peran dan tanggungjawab kita terhadap ilmu. Kita punya berbagai peran ataupun tanggungjawab terhadap ilmu dan juga pengabdian ilmu ataupun pengaplikasian ilmu yang boleh memberi manfaat kepada manusia dan alam sejagat. For that, I'm very pleased to see IIUM and UIR working together to translate their philosophy of knowledge and carry out their missions, especially with regard to engaging the community. Our last Isrupic, the kuliah of IRKHS and at IIUM and Fakultas Psikologi at UIR have agreed to develop a set of strategic way in developing various university community engagement activities through the application of knowledge, especially Islamic knowledge, and extension of services to the various types of community. We have agreed to focus on initiatives that substantiate our roles as academics in Islamic learning institution. I hope we can continue to work together through collaborative research, especially in the areas that require interventions on psychosocial issues. It would be best if we can link the identified issues with our teaching and learning activities, as well as our research and publication activities. Although we are still at the initial stage of collaboration, I believe we can organize several activities which can address the psychosocial issues of our society. I believe this seminar will provide platform for us to exchange our experience and aspirations in our university community engagement activities, especially when many of us have attempted to relate human sciences principles with Islamic perspective. I too hope we can promote Isrupic to other institutions in other countries and engage them to be involved in the community engaged academic activities which we will embark. Lastly, I wish to thank all committee members and technical staff who have made extra contribution in making this seminar a success. With that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Shukran, for the inspiring speech. Now, I would like to welcome Bapak Yanwar Arif from the Faculty of Psychology, Universitas Islam Riau, to say a few words.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, all praises are only to Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given extraordinary blessings to us all. Not to forget, we send prayers and greetings to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Alhamdulillah, we managed to carry out the second Isrupic in this month. To conduct Isrupic this time feel exceptional because we are amid in COVID-19 pandemic. It is challenge to adapt to new habits, one of which is we adapt to technology. So this time Isrupic is carried online. Not only Isrupic's activity is annual event, but also a part of the commitment between Universitas Islam Riau and IUM that Islam is a worldview for all activities in our lives. Islam is rahmatan lil alamin, which is a religion that gives mercy and the entire universe. For the reasons, this activity will continue to run more perfectly in the following years and involve many universities so that it can have a more significant impact. So we would like to thanks Dr. Nur Azlan for being keynote speaker at today's webinar. Thank you very much, Doctor. And then we from will would like to express our deepest gratitude to Prof. Sukron and then Dr. Aini and fellow lecturers from IIUM. We have provided encouragement and inspiration for us at UIR. Hopefully will bring blessing. And see you next years in Pekanbaru ya Prof. Insyaallah. Thank you. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bapak Yanwar, for the encouraging words. Alhamdulillah, today's webinar, we are very fortunate and honored to have Associate Professor Dr. Nur Azlan from the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, KIRKHS IIUM, as our keynote speaker today. Associate Professor Dr. Nur Azlan is a social anthropologist, medical. He has vast experiences to indigenous.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Ms. Dr. Rabia, as the chairperson for this webinar on the role of university on responding to psychosocial issues. I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, Dean of the Kuliah, Professor Dr. Shukran, and also Bapak Yanwi Arif, Dean of Faculty of Psychology, Universitas Islam Riau, Indonesia, and to the organizing committee and the chairperson and the chairman for this organizing committee for allowing me, for giving me this opportunity to deliver my keynote this morning on the title of the role of university in managing psychosocial issues during COVID-19 pandemic. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all participants in this morning webinar, inshallah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next, please, next slide, please. Okay, again, we're going to start with a video clip for you to watch. A video clip by Marcus Rashford, inshallah. Yeah.
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, attached. Somehow I was in a feeling bad. Baby, I am not your dad. It's not all you want from me. I just want your company. Girl, it's obvious, elephant in the room. We're part of it, don't act so confused. And you love starting it, now I'm in the mood. Now we arguing in my bedroom. We play games of love to avoid the depression. We've been here before and I won't be a victim. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. So why you tryna pay your love on the regular when you could be blowing up just like my cellular? I don't never let a shawty go and set me up. Only thing I need to know is if you wet enough. I'm talking slick back, kick back, gang sipping 40s. You keep playing another day with your shawty. Mismatch fish, that was way before you know me. Got a lot of love, but you better save it for me. We play games of love to avoid the depression. We've been here before and I won't be a victim. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view, yeah.
Next, please. Okay, thank you for watching this short video clip for Max Rashford. You must be wondering why we're choosing Max Rashford. On Sunday morning, October 25th, 2020, I was inspired by the Guardian newspaper's headline on food poverty, top children's doctors attack tourists over free school meals. It was reported that thousands of Britain's top health specialists have joined forces to condemn the government for its refusal to fund free meals for disadvantaged children in England over the school holidays, amid a spreading grassroots campaign on the issue led by England and Manchester United footballer Marcus Rashford. With a growing number of councils and businesses this weekend offering to provide free meals, more than 2,000 paediatricians across the UK have signed a letter expressing their shock at the decision. They state that, that ensuring children have enough to eat is one of the most basic human responsibilities. So, who is Marcus Rashford? Marcus Rashford is just an English professional footballer for Manchester United. And UK government decided to refuse to fund free meals for these of the children in England. And UK, more than 4 million children live in poverty, and free school meals serves around 1/3 of it. And Marcus Rashford launched a free school meals campaign for the poor. And the COVID-19 pandemic has entrenched and exacerbated, no, not yet. The COVID-19 pandemic has entrenched and exacerbated the reality. The precarious economy, rising unemployment, and neighboring deprivation due to COVID-19 pandemic have led many families around UK who were previously managing now struggling to make ends meet. And it is appalling to acknowledge the fact that Marcus Rashford came to the rescue and began to launch free school meals campaign for the poor. And that is about scenario number one. Move on, next slide, please. Now we look at scenario number two, Ustad Abi Liu. I think for Malaysian, everybody know him well, who is Ustad Abi Liu. And this based on the report, the Sun Delhi local newspaper dated 19 April 2020 reported that Ustad Abi Liu donated 100 fans and 50 air conditions to the frontliner during COVID-19 pandemic. He narrated what inspired him to help the needy was due to his tough life back then. He slept on the cold, hard cement floor with little food to survive through the day. One day, a stranger came and offered him a blanket to sleep on. Today, the blanket is still with him. He felt indebted to that person to this day, and that person's kindness motivated him to help others in need. Today, on April 20th, 2020, he had family of 15 living in a dilapidated hut in Al-Usta, Kedah. Ustad Abid Liu said it was one of the most agonizing moments in his life to see a stroke patient living in such squalid conditions. The house was dirty and smelly. He found a new home for the family, the rental for which he would pay for as long as he lives. He could remember his mother's words: when people help us when we are in need, we should help others when we are able to do so. Again, who is Ustad Abid Liu? He's just a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and religious preacher. What inspires me from the above two scenarios is the campaign hosted and message delivered throughout the campaign launch. This triggers inspiration for us all to take up the role to play in disseminating ideas for ummatic vision. Life is not to be perceived and experienced as happenstance. Next slide, please. Unless we have a strategic text passage. Next slide, please. Unless we, this is, again, next slide, please. Okay, so this is, life is, unless we have a strategic thinking and strategic planning, we can change the way how things are being worked out. So life management could be otherwise if we are truly committed within ourselves and to the spirit laid down in adopted in Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 11, saying that truly God alters not what is in people until they alter what is in themselves. And when God desires evil for a people, there is no repelling it, and apart from Him, they have no protector. In other words, to change our life, to change ourselves, to change the society, we need to change ourselves. This is what the principle laid down in Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 11. And this leads me to unveil five main principles of another model which I wish to propose this morning. Next slide, please. Based on these two scenarios, I wish to propose a model, Azdan High model, or acronym called AHI model. You can pronounce it as Azdan High model or AHI model. AHI means my brother or our brotherhood. Can look, what are the principles laid down under this model? Next slide, please. So there are five main principles of AHI model. The first is the Khalifa, which is, next slide, Khalifa, anthropological imagination. Khalifa, can not clear. It's not clear. I cannot see. The first is about the Khalifa, is from Surah Al-Baqarah. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون صدق الله العظيم. This surah is about the creation of Adam, and where Allah decided to appoint us as His watchers on earth. So we have to hold His amanah to be His watchers on earth as the Khalifa. And this is the first principle which I could figure out from this verse of Al-Quran, from Surah Al-Baqarah. The next principle that I wish to highlight under this model of Akhi model, next slide, is anthropological imagination. Anthropological imaginations, this concept advocates the principle which emphasizes on our clear conscience and awareness that we are living in a society of the other. This principle derived from Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 13, of which talking about all mankind, indeed we have created from you from male and female, and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and aware. So this is Surah Al-Hujurat. From here, we can derive a good principle, which I came to my understanding of of this surah, and I decided to have one term for that called anthropological imagination. And this anthropological imagination is a concept which advocate um, emphasizing on we have a clear conscience about and awareness that we are living in a society of the other. Okay, so being anthropologist, this is quite common. It's a term which we have in mind. The third principle that I wish to have under this Akhi model will be Sharia compliance, which next slide please. This particular Sharia compliance, this principle derived from Surah Al-Kafirun of verse 1 to verse 6, talking about the disbelievers. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun la a'budu ma ta'budun wa la antum 'abiduna ma a'bud wa la ana 'abidun ma 'abadtum wa la antum 'abiduna ma a'bud lakum dinukum waliyadin. Sadaqallahu alazim. Say, O disbelievers, I do not worship what you worship, nor are you worshippers of what I worship, nor will I be worshipper of what you worship, nor will you be worshippers of what I worship. For you is your religion, and for me is my religion. So under this model, or Akhi model, I would like to stress on the importance of upholding Islam as the religion in managing affairs on earth. So being a Khalifa, so these are the possible attributes that we should have. The issue of Sharia compliance. Of course, there are many verses for the Quran we can refer, but I think this could be one of these. I could say something fundamental. And if you look at in the Malaysian context, for example, so in Malaysia, we can use this principle, the Sharia compliance. So in Malaysia, we have this Article 3, of which Islam is the region of the federation. And under Article 3 of Islam Declaration means everything that we do in the context of Malaysia should be comply with this Article 3 Islam is the federation. And this is very much in uh, connection to the Surah Al-Kafirun. You can have the freedom of religion, but we still uphold Islam as the religion. Other religion can be in practice, in harmony, in peace, as long as it doesn't affect the Sharia compliance in the context of what we are doing on earth as his Khalifa. The fourth principle that I wish to refer, next slide please, is about the noble and righteous deeds. And this is Amal Saleh. And there are many verses from the Quran, Surah Al-Imran, verse 514, Surah Al-Inshiqaq, verse 25. Next slide, please. Right, next slide, please. Then you have verses from the Quran, from Surah Al-Bayyinah, Surah Al-As, Amal Saleh. So noble and righteous deeds. We have been talking about the voluntarism, we have been talking about community engagement, but we have not talking about Amal Saleh. So we keep on saying voluntarism without knowing the fact that in Islam, we do have one concept called Amal Saleh. Well, it's okay to say voluntarism, but we should have this in mind so that the rewarding is unceasing. And you can see here from the verse Surah Al-Bayyinah, verse 7, indeed they who have believed and done righteous deeds, those who are the best creatures, except for those who believe and done righteous deeds and advise each other to truth and advise each other to passion. Next slide, please. Again, I'm going to show another verse from the Quran, and the Surah At-Tin. Okay, we have certainly created man in the best of creature, and we treated him to the lowest of the low, except for those who believe and do righteous deeds, for they will have a reward uninterrupted. So that means we should educate our youngsters, especially university students. This is the role of university, to educate our students to be a great ambassador, to do some kind of amal soleh. We can say voluntarism, but we need to understand the concept of ibadah, the concept of amal soleh, hoping that they will be rewarded unceasingly. That is what I'm trying to say under this model. And finally, number 5, next slide, please. We'll be talking about the spiritual guidance and help in the guise of ibadah. So this is quite common among us. We have been reciting this for 7 times per day through our prayers. We have been reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, and we have forgotten verse 5 and verse 6. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. It is you. So the issue, we submit ourselves to Allah in the guise of ibadah, and to you, Allah, we submit ourselves to seek for help. So in other words, we keep on saying spiritual guidance and help in the guise of ibadah. And from these 5 main principles, I would like to translate those into a model. Next slide, please. This is the next. Okay, this is the kind of model that I have in mind. So that means they are the key player as the Khalifa, and then KH is the Khalifa, and then you have the 4 bubbles there. A stands for anthropological imagination. S stands for Sharia compliance. R stands for righteous deed or noble righteous deed. I stands for ibadah. And here I'm talking about from verse 5 to verse 6 about spiritual guidance and spiritual help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this I too can be and also fit into a mission of the triple ICE. This I can be integration, can be Islamization, can also mean uh, internationalization and comprehensive excellence. So being a Khalifa, they should have this a bit of these attributes. I just make it R3 so that it's not too easy for us to remember. So anthropological, so you have the 2 arrows there. It's a two-way traffic, Khalifa and A, S, R, and I. So anthropological immigration, Sharia compliance, Rashid and some kind of ibadah there. And then Rashid here in this context, we talk about the importance of doing voluntarism or the context of being to commit ourselves to do amal soleh in managing issues, or in this particular context, we talk about psychosocial issues in society. And from there, we hope we are able to make a kind of module, and this module can be of our own interest. It could be any module that we can figure out. Modules like, in this case, since we are talking about COVID-19 pandemic, we can have a module that could deal with the psychosocial issues. We can have a simple module. Any modules can be crafted or can be designed, can be devised under this model. And then they see one arrow in the center. The first thing that I have under this model, the most important unit that we should deal with will be the family. So you can see there's a arrow in the middle. It goes into the family. It's a two-way kind of introduction. So the modules developed, designed to deal with the family. In this case, we talk about COVID-19, whatever methods that we can figure out. And then from the modules created, then we can implement it to the community. This arrow there out there, you see this arrow is not a one-way traffic, it's just one arrow going out there to community. So we can implement that arrow to the community. We try to test the module design to the community. If anything goes wrong, let's say if anything that we want to, let's say we want to do some kind of amendment to the modules, okay, you can go to clockwise direction. There's another arrow down below there. We can go back to the module for improvement to do some kind of amendment. So you can see there are 4 dimensions down below there: the key player, the attributes, the model development, and the social engagement. And the middle of that, SB1, SB2, SB3, SB4, is about sector base. Sector, this could be the buffer in the sense that when we prepare the module for the family and we implement it in the community, we should link into the sector base. Sector base can be economy, can be culture, can be religion, can be politics, can be of anything that it can be education, health, anything that we can figure out. So that's why you can see this. I propose that this module can be used, be tested in managing the psychosocial issues that we are dealing with, for example. So the most important thing is how we go about doing the module. This is the role of the university. You can pronounce as high model, a high model, or a high. You must just look, why I say high, when you look at carefully the model, it's just like a cornea. So there's a big there. So M just look like a retina. The community, family, SB just look at it, just like cornea, or like, just like our eye. This is a Khalifa eye, see? So for this particular model. Okay, I think that's it about for the model. I think so. Those principles should be incorporated in the university's curriculum, educating our great ambassadors. And the point that I'm making here is we need to wrap our arms as a society around those psychosocial identified or individuals in need or those most in need. So keeping this in mind of the 5 principles above, so let us discuss a bit on the COVID-19 pandemic and the role of the university in addressing the psychosocial issues. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, okay, COVID-19 pandemic and the role of university. So, under this COVID-19 pandemic is a menace to many international communities across the globe, and it creates great fear, mass fear among the community, something called chronophobia, because due to various psychological vulnerability factors, because due such as the intolerance of uncertainty, perceived vulnerability, disease, and anxiety proneness. So based on the chronophobia and due to COVID-19 pandemic, so most of the countries across the globe decided to have all kinds of strategies. And the strategies like lockdown, nation lockdown, and then you have quarantine for 14 days, social distancing, wearing a face mask, and it's really unprecedented global health fiasco here. And because the rationale is to protect our people from protect people from contracting this unpredictable and predictable and fast spreading deadly virus infection of COVID-19. Once contracted, maybe you can have all kinds of symptoms like anger, confusion, frustration, loneliness, denial, anxiety, depression, insomnia, despair, and to a certain extent to have some kind of suicidal thoughts about it. And then the most important thing of having all these strategies is just to break, to deprive the chain reaction of COVID-19 virus from spreading into the community. But the most important thing when you look at the whatever uh, programs that you look in the psychosocial issues, something lacking is about the spiritual caution awareness. So spiritual caution awareness is not there actually in addressing issues of psychosocial issues in the society. The next slide, please. So these are the statistics, just to share a bit of the figures. In Malaysia, you can see the number keeps on escalating. This is data as of December 10th, and the grand total that we have so far is 78,499 as December 10th, but now I think more, they have more. And then you can see the number of death, 396. And then that will be in the case of Malaysia. What about the global period? That's worldwide. Next slide, please. Worldwide, well, you can see almost COVID-19 pandemic cases worldwide. So death cases, 1 million now. Talk about millions of them suffering from COVID-19. And so next, what will be our next step? Next slide. So looking at the above statistic, the next step before that. Before okay. Looking at the statistic above, the next step is how to go about it. What approaches we thinking? Following the Akhi model designed or adopted, the first step as a Khalifa, we need holistic understanding of psycho-social issues faced by our community. Holistic understanding. Holistic understanding means it's best achieved through field studies. We need to do it to adopt participant observation and community engagement approaches. And these PO and community engagement approaches are important, are imperative to gather any comprehensible inputs of the society needs so that we can address the psychosocial needs within the community. Next slide, please. And at this particular point of view, the magnitude of universities' engagement in addressing psychosocial needs of any given society can be easily measured through roles played simultaneously. So when we have this PO and community engagement, you can be a member and observer. So I wish of the community or group. So we should bear in mind that university should not be living in his own cocoon within in its exclusiveness of space. So we have to go beyond the boundary of our own university, to go to the society and to be a member at the same time to be the observer, or I could say to be some kind of It's another term for that. A detached concern. We can be very much concerned of what's going on around around the campus. At the same time, we can detach. Being detached means we can still be professionals in addressing those issues. So I wish to adopt an ARCHI model here and explore the three main issues. We can have three. We are going to talk about family well-being and children adjustment, and we're going to talk about community engagement and sector-based. Next slide, please. So let's look at about these are the three issues that I wish to talk about under this keynote address. Next slide, please. So we talk about family. Number one is about family well-being and children adjustment. So COVID-19 pandemic may have short and long-term perceived threats. I'm not talking about threats. I'm talking about perceived threats. Perceived threats to family well-being and children adjustment. So it's not really a threat yet, but just a perceived threat. It's really something that we should figure out how to deal with these perceived threats. And family well-being is conceptualized by three overarching processes. Number one is about communication. Here we talk about family coping strategy. So and then we talk about organization. We talk about adaptability and resources. And the third point would be on the belief system, meanings, and spirituality. In this case, what is more important is about family resilience, the concept of resilience, how we go about dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic. So resilience means the ability to withstand and rebound from disruptive life change challenges. So in this case, we need some kind of a mutual support and collaborative strategy, because family are being in a COVID-19 pandemic. People are losing job. People have to adopt new norms or new normal life. People are talking about no income, no financial security. We're talking about the vulnerability. We're talking about social distancing. Everything is totally changed. We have a new COVID-19 pandemic, and you're going to face a new challenges in years to come. So what I'm going to talk about is more about contextual risk and the psychosocial impact. So here, that is really a matter. That means in this case, the dilemma here, the contextual risk is about losing a job, which I mentioned just now, financial security, insecurity, school closures, recalibrate relationship in the family, and then there are many more. So that means in this case, the requirement now is we need to have a boundary shift of social relationship, and sometimes roles and negotiating. We have to come up with a new rules to play. We have to negotiate the roles. So in this case, the university has to come in to give them some kind of support, socially and morally, for family resilience. How to go about? I mean, through supportive social and institutional approach policies. In this case, it depends how much we could really tap family resources. So it's our duty now to go in and to go down to the community. And as I mentioned just now, earlier, the universities, we should not stay elite. We should not living in our own cocoon and within our exclusiveness of space. We should go out and prepare some kind of intervention, and the intervention here depends on on how we go about tapping resources from our neighborhoods. For example, university like IUM, maybe we can talk about the 3 kilometer, that we can have a radius strategy. We can talk about our neighborhood, the 3 kilometers quite close to us. So how far we really know our neighbors now? So that means we should develop action-oriented modules and a new referral system. A new referral system means the university should know their own neighbors. Should talk about what is going on within our 3 kilometers, or maybe we can go a little bit further, 5 kilometers, and maybe 10 kilometers. We can have our strategy, radius strategy, 3, 5, 10, or above 5 kilometers or above 10 kilometers. So we have to create new referral system. Next slide, please. Okay, that means university role, we have to have the boundary shift. And then we talk about recently, as we talk about psychosocial issues, we are not denying the fact of social distancing. What is what is new? What is new thing about social distancing? Social distancing means we are 1 meter policy apart from others. That is one thing. But the social distancing can contribute to acute risk of loneliness, particularly among the elderly group. So loneliness, social isolation, physical and mental health deterioration. This is the risk of the elderly group. The more that you keep them away from your family members, from the surroundings, and they could develop all cause of dementia. And it's not just prodromal feature of dementia, particularly on Alzheimer's disease. So there's one scholar by the name of Arthur Clemens. He's actually a psychiatrist and also a medical anthropologist, a well-known psychiatrist and also at the same time medical anthropologist. He was tested by these family matters because looking after his wife. His wife is suffering. His wife by the name of Joan, suffering from Alzheimer's disease, and she suffered one particular of disease, Alzheimer's disease, that eventually she became blind, and had dementia and Alzheimer's too. And being a great scholar, psychiatrist and medical anthropology, he said the concept of care and caregiving are two different concepts. Okay? So that means to him, caring means learning how to take care of ourselves and our local worlds. Caring means involves some kind of physical act. You have to be strong. So even he looked after his wife for almost 8 years before his wife passed away due to Alzheimer's, dementia, and blindness. Okay, this is a challenge. And he said, Arthur Clemens said, the medical curriculum courses need to change, more of care and caregiving. And he mentioned about the importance of family resilience framework in managing psychosocial impact of the pandemic. And at the end of the day, what is more important to us all is about developing human engagement modules. So that is something lacking in as far as university is concerned. So we are more lacking. We have limited these human engagement modules. This is something proposed and advocated by Arthur Clemens in his work. Next slide, please. Then the second issue is about community engagement. And COVID-19 is not something. Yeah, of course, it's a disease, but it's a social disease, and it requires social remedies, and it's social issues, and it requires social medicine on top of viral infection. You talk in terms of microbes, in terms of virus infection, in terms of bacteria. But COVID-19 is actually a social disease that requires social remedies. And in a way, you need some kind of social medicine here. And social medicine recommends three things. One is integrating health, social, and economic responses. And then you have to bring in care to the points of greatest needs. And then the third point is focusing on the concept of equity, equitable distribution of health resources among the community members. Next one, next slide, please. Okay. And then which sector that really affected most, and mostly children, because children will be the most affected group, because being at home, staying at home, school closure, for children at a very young age, they need social environment. They need social environment to play, because social environment plays a significant role for early childhood cognitive, emotional, and psychosocial skill development. Without this, without social environment skills, and they will be nowhere. They are living in their home, doing nothing. They are not missing around. They are some rather affecting their childhood cognitive and childhood emotional and psychosocial skills, particularly in terms of interactive skills. And that's why you have a psychosocial impact on children when they are confined to their homes without outdoor activities, and even worse, particularly among the disabled children. Disabled children like autism, Down syndrome, they need some kind of a social environment that could really support them. So this is where the universities can come in. Again, as I mentioned to you all just now, human engagement modules need to be crafted and to be to be implemented in our community. University should not remain within its cocoon, enjoying exclusivity of space and detached concern in managing psychosocial issues. When you talk about concern, it seems to be like very much concern of our surrounding, but that's why I think what we are facing now is not really concern. What we are facing now, we are talking about detached concern. We concerned, but at the same time we are detached. So detached concern. Next slide, please. Okay, finally, the last section will be on the sector-based engagement. Here we talk about the workplace. The workplace means there are many things I can discuss under this sector-based engagement. For my keynote this morning, I'll just focusing on the workplace. This is something crucial for our what do you call this, our COVID-19 pandemic. So what we are facing now, we have new normal working environment, and then we have new psychosocial challenges. So we are having increased workloads, social distancing, working from home, losing jobs, demotivated, anxiety, depression, follow scheme, and burnout syndrome. So the more you stay at home, sometimes you might end up with burnout syndrome. Yeah, I think others we can figure out, but I think the last point I think is more really important to you all. So because that's why you need to go out. Not to say home is really your heaven, but there are times you need to go out. Not to say you are living heaven, go for something more heaven, but I think you are moving out to get to clear, maybe to clear the burnout syndrome, perhaps. And the burnout syndrome, if left untreated, would eventually will end up with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And again, at this particular with new environment, new work environment, new psychosocial challenges, we have a needs to have a strategy actions by management. We need a proper working schedule. We need to have a work-life balance, job security, and of course, at the end of the day, we need to have is more important about social and psychological supports. And to do that, we need some kind of psychosocial needs assessment (PNA). And the rationale is to identify the possible intervention programs to deal with. I remember a case of one medical anthropologist. They went to Aceh and after the tsunami, and with this Harvard School, Harvard University, with the experts, they went to Aceh and they used this psychosocial need assessment. They went into all the villages to identify the PTSD perhaps, or the stress, or maybe the trauma, or based on the traumatic events suffered by the Achenis, and eventually based on the data they gathered from the field. Again, you see, again, the issue here to understand about what is going on, we have to have holistic understanding. The PO comes in and the community engagement comes in. So they went in, the Harvard University's scholars, medical anthropologists, together with the psychiatrists, working together with the local psychiatrists. They work together to get some data, to collecting data, and from there they prepare some kind of strategic actions how to go about dealing to reducing the PTSD or some kind of stress, more like stress management among the Aceh these people. Next slide, please. Okay. So what university could do to address the matter? Next slide, please. Okay, number one, we can have placing emphasis on strategic human engagement module. This is what I'm keep saying over and over again from the early part of my keynote. By participating as consultant in humanitarian intervention and outreach program. This is what Harvard University's they were doing to the Aceh community after the tsunami. Okay? Placing on the strategic human engagement modules. At the same time, develop action-oriented modules by tapping into family resources and other resources within the neighborhood. This is not maybe this is not really we should have done better to understand our neighborhood, particularly our surroundings. Next slide, please. The third point that I would like to say would be creating new reference system, new possibilities, new avenues that could be capitalized by universities authorities, concerted effort to overcome impasses to change. As of now, we don't have the data about our surroundings. Maybe you can ask your university, can ask my university, how much we really know our neighbors now. Do we have our data? Okay, I mean, of which we can refer new reference system, new possibilities, and which we can capitalize the data, and to have some kind of ongoing intervention program from time to time, not to have some kind of one-off programs of which that's it. And number four, we have to provide guidelines and principles, effective online learning, and designing social support programs, particularly for the vulnerable groups within the community, the children, the elderly group, the chronic patients, and then the women, and then also the disabled children, perhaps. Next. And conclusion. Next. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. University's curriculum need to be revised to go beyond class-based oriented study, from theoretical to empirical based applied knowledge. University mission to impart more towards Khalifah mission, which construe voluntarism concept as amal soleh, which is solely meant to secure answers and rewards in the case of ibadah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third point, harmonizing the theoretical and practical dimensions of community engagement efforts based on the AKHI model. Next. So let's review the AKHI model based on the 5 principles laid down just now. And looking at the model, Khalifa, anthropological imagination, Sharia compliance, noble righteous deeds or amal soleh, and finally number 5, spiritual guidance and having the guns of ibadah. And if you talk about IUM, it fits into IUM mission of integration, Islamization, internationalization, and comprehensive excellence. Next slide, please. The words of wisdom, I suppose, excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly what we are. So we are what we are. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit, according to Aristotle. And finally, my final slide will be from the Hadith. Next. Narrated from Sayyidatina Aisyah radhiyallahu anha, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ya ayuhan nas khuzu minal a'mali ma tutiqun, fa inna Allah la yamallu hatta tamallu, wa inna habbal a'mali ila Allah ma dama wa in qalla." O mankind, take up good deeds only as much as you are able, for Allah loves those who love to do good deeds indeed, and that the most beloved deeds to Allah are the most regular and consistent, even though they were small. So this is something that we have to think about in addressing the psychosocial issues as a COVID-19 pandemic that we are dealing now. With that, I think that's the end of my keynote address. Thank you very much for listening. May Allah bless all of us. Barakallahu fikum. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Nur Azlan, for a very thought-provoking and insightful presentation. Perhaps after this, we can further discuss on how to adopt AKHI model into our curriculum. Your thoughts are going to stay with us all, Professor Dr. Nur Azlan.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
that marks the beginning of our seminar today. Before we proceed, we would like to invite all speakers and participants of this conference to switch on our cameras for photography session. Smile, everyone. All right, thank you very much, everyone. So to continue our seminar today, we will break into smaller groups for 2 parallel sessions. Presenters and participants for session 1A may remain here. For presenters and participants of 1B session, you may join the session by clicking the link provided in the chat box or as found in the program book. Yeah. So if you check your chat box, you will find the link for 1B session. We hope you will find the discussions today engaging and fruitful. Thank you very much and see you later, inshallah.
Amin.